Hello, hello. All right, get my camera set up, my usual routine here. Casey and I are at my parents' cabin, enjoying the beautiful summer sunny weather. Give you a little tour around here. We're in the big main sunroom. Oh, it's too washed out. It's not going to show you outside. We got a beautiful lake out there on the dock. You can see the dog, and we're just enjoying some time together up here at the cottage. We don't get a whole lot of time off, so it's quite nice for us to be up in a little vacation spot here, just the two of us catching up and reconnecting. So um, let's go through our topic today. We're talking about the elixir of progress. So I gave it a nice catchy title. But I kid you not, this is like the one habit that is like it can change absolutely everything about your progress. So it's often overlooked and very regularly misunderstood. So we're going to go through it. If you're here watching, let's drop wins, drop them in the WhatsApp group or here in the comments. My win is obviously being here at the cottage and enjoying some sunny weather and the lake. But yeah, let's get into it. So, the Progress Elixir, what is it? I feel like this is kind of obvious, but water. Water is so massively important to fat loss, muscle building, digestion, literally everything, like workout performance. And I'm going to go over a little bit of the science of why this is so important. It's often one of those habits that you'll hear coaches say, "Oh, make sure you drink your water. Drink your water. You'll lose fat faster if you drink your water." And it can kind of become one of those things where you're like, you just get used to hearing coaches say it. And a lot of coaches, truly, a lot of coaches will say it without actually really understanding why it's so important themselves. So I'm going to give you the actual science behind why this is important. And my goal here is that you understand why we need this in us and why it is going to elevate and expedite your results. And it's going to make it easier to focus on that goal and really actually prioritize bringing it up. So let's get into it. The water, our bodies are like what, 60%, 70% made of water. Like we are primarily made of water. Everything in us is water. Literally every single chemical reaction that happens in our body, it has water as a part of it at some point. Lipolysis, so the chemical reaction of breaking fat down into usable energy, is a hydrolysis reaction, meaning the only way lipolysis happens, the only way we actually access our fat stores to turn that into energy and burn it off is by having water come in there, break the fat, the stored fat apart into usable energy, and then send it to the body where it needs to go in order to be used and burned off. Right. So that's fat loss. That's all it is. Right. We're converting stored fat into energy. We're using that energy, and we're not replenishing the fat store because we have that calorie deficit to make sure that we don't have any extra calories to store. So we're using the stores instead of adding to the stores. All right. So yeah, that's item number one. Lipolysis, the actual act of breaking your fat down, requires water. What happens if we don't have enough water? If you don't have enough water, lipolysis is still going to happen. It's just going to happen a lot slower. We always have water, but if we don't have an abundance of water, then those processes start to slow down because we can't access, like, we don't have enough water to massively produce a whole bunch of chemical reactions at the same time because we have to selectively use it. It's just less resources, so less ability. Think about it like a warehouse. If you've got a warehouse and they get 10,000 orders in, but they only have 200 workers, it's going to take a pretty dang long time for them to go through all of the stuff, pack it all up, and send it out the door. But if you have 1,000 orders and you have 1,000 workers, bang, 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 it's going to happen pretty quick. So hopefully that gives you a good kind of visual of why, like for the fat loss portion, why water is really important. And we can go into like a whole lot more depth than that, but we don't need to. So that paints a pretty clear picture. The same thing is happening for building muscle, for improving workout performance. Your water is essential for those things to happen. It's the same process, right? Not the same process, but the same concept. We need fat stores to shuttle energy to our muscles. We need glycogen stores within our muscles to be broken down into usable glucose to fuel the muscle. We need water to transport protein and turn it into, first of all, we need water to break the protein down into amino acids, and then we need water to shuttle those amino acids back into the muscle cells for recovery. So literally everything that we do requires water at some level, and usually a pretty foundational level of whatever it is that we're looking at, whether it's building muscle, whether it's generating energy, burning fat stores, using energy, replenishing energy, all of those things. Water is the core mover of all of those things, right? So we have our obviously our blood system, right? Our circulatory system, our veins and our arteries. That's our transport system, right? So everything goes from our transport system, our circulatory system, and that's where we move everything, right? So we have different systems that connect here, like our digestive system. So if we're talking about the transport system, my favorite analogy with this is to think about it like literally like old school fur trading times when you're like, you got like a whole logging operation and you're trying to like send logs down a river, or you're trading goods up and down this river. If the river is dry and slow, things aren't going to move very quickly. You're more prone to things getting jammed up and blocked up. But if you have a river that's swollen and like water is plentiful, it's moving quickly, everything else happens really quickly, right? It's the same concept, just a different analogy of how we're transporting energy through the body, how we're recovering, getting our aminos to our muscles and all that sort of stuff. But on the digestive side of things, it's literally like you don't want a log jam, and that is a very intentional pun. It Water is heavily involved in our digestive system. It's what creates the secretions and everything to move and break food down, absorb it into the intestinal tract to use it, and then and move all of the other extra stuff that we don't want down through the digestive tract and out of us. So if we don't have enough water, that digestive system starts to slow down too, and that's where we can start to run into issues. Where I'm not just talking about poop issues, but also just not feeling well. Those feelings where you feel sluggish, or sometimes if you're super bloated, drinking a lot of water is one way that can help with bloating. Um, can also, if you drink too much water, it can also make you feel bloated, but you just have a belly full of water. Um, but if you're not drinking enough, then what happens is everything gets so concentrated in your GI system, it starts to produce a lot more gas. And then we get like actual distension, bloating in our intestines and our stomach, right? So if we have more water to allow the digestive process to happen a little bit easier, we can reduce bloating a lot. Um, Now you've heard I'm kind of bouncing between different things here, so I hope that you guys are following me. Um, Another issue that often, or not an issue, but another benefit people often talk about is if you drink more water, you get more energy. I hope that it kind of makes sense after listening to me over the last 10 minutes here that if we have a river system, if our circulatory system and our digestive system is moving really well and really efficiently, then the same thing. It allows us to access the nutrients we need. It allows us to access the energy we need. It allows us to move ATP to where it needs to be a lot quicker. It allows us to convert that ATP, or to burn that ATP and actually like combust it into energy. It helps to remove the metabolites quicker. All of these processes happen much, much faster when you're fully hydrated. So water absolutely makes your energy better. And it's because everything is moving way more efficiently, right? So, that's kind of like that science in a nutshell around why water is so important and why it expedites your results and makes everything so much quicker. Your recovery gets quicker, your fat loss gets quicker, your strength gains come quicker. Like all of this stuff happens so much faster when you're well hydrated. Now, a couple things like practical things that I want to bring up here is that um, when we talk about your water intake, we're talking all fluids. Okay, so it doesn't have to be 3 to 4 liters of just straight water. But you, what? Sorry, stumbling over my words here. What doesn't count towards your water intake is anything with high sugar, anything with alcohol, and anything with high caffeine. Those three things are going to actually act like a diuretic and pull water out of your system, and you're going to pee out more water. So you're not actually going to like get as much water as you're consuming. So we don't count those things, but we can count herbal teas. We can count sugar-free sodas or pops like bubblies. We can count sugar-free juices or like a sugar-free Powerade, sugar-free Gatorade. All of those things will contribute to your hydration. So milk counts as well. So when we're talking 3 to 4 liters of water, we're talking 3 to 4 liters of fluids, but specifically the right fluids. All right. So